Hello everyone. So we actually left from here from the last video. So this add staff scenario. So what I was trying to do is I'm trying to add a new staff or new staff record to my database using this insert endpoint now. So I'm going to use Postman for this scenario, and from that I'm going to pass a new staff object and see if I can add a new staff successfully into my what do you call database. So I will go here and I will just click that staff, and here you can see at the moment I am adding the new staff to my staffs list. Okay, staffs is none other than an existing list. So here what I have to do is I have to change it because now I want to add it into a database. So for that only I have created all these repository businesses. So using my repository I want to add it. So whatever I want to do is I'm going to use an inbuilt method from my staff repository. So I will call the staff repository object, and I will use a method called inbuilt implemented method called save. That method can be used to save a new entity or new row or new data into the existing database table. So you can see this here dot save. So this is an inbuilt method, and it will add a new staff into our database. So here using the save method I will pass my staff object into this save method. As soon as I do it, it will be able to this database repository will able to use some queries and save that particular staff or insert the particular staff into my database table. So in other words, if you go to this particular staff repository, you will see this staff repository is none other than an interface that is extending JPA repository. And the JPA repository is basically taking staff object, okay, a staff table, and also an integer that is none other than the primary key of the staff table, that is our staff ID. So when you pass a staff object inside the save method of the staff repository, basically the JPA repository implementation has a save method somewhere, and Spring will use that save method where we can pass the staff as an entity where our primary key will be the integer staff ID. So that is what actually happening. So there are a number of inbuilt methods that can be used for every purposes. So we are using save method where we are simply going to input the data or add the data or insert the data into that particular table. So this is the benefit of it. You don't have to write a single query. Okay, so I'll go to the staff service and go to the place where I changed the code. So I'm using the staff repository.save method and passing my staff object so that this will be successfully saved using this inbuilt method implementations. Okay, so you don't have to write any queries. Okay, so let's not get into that deeply, and let's stop it here. So now what I have changed is one single line change. Simply change the list adding scenario to the database adding scenario, and the flow will start like this. So we will hit this particular endpoint and we will pass a staff data or staff object, and we'll call this add staff with that object, and that add staff will call the repository and try to save the particular staff object into the database. Okay, I will stop the application and build and run again since I made a small change now. So my application is now successfully built and I'm going to run it. So now it's up and running, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to open my Postman, and you see this is the particular endpoint insert. So using this URL I'm going to hit this insert endpoint where my code flow is this is in this flow only I have made all the changes. I'm going to store the data in the database using this insert endpoint, right? So I'm going to call the endpoint insert and I'm going to add this data, right? So I'm going to add Mary staff ID 3355 and age 25. This is my staff record. So I'm going to add this particular record to my database by calling this endpoint. So before that I want to show you, as you know, since we added this repository, the system knows where to save the data, right? Because we have given all the details in the application.properties. So what is the database, and the system already has created the table. I will first go to this MySQL and show you. So in the staff management database, it has created a table already, staff, because we have already mentioned those things in my code. The staff object with the annotation as entity and things like that, right? You have noted all those things. So first I will check the staff table whether there is any data here. So you see there is no data, right? It's an empty table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit that endpoint with this particular data and see whether the database has been, the table has been got updated with this data. I will click send, and I'm getting a 200 OK success response. So how I will check whether this has been successful. I will go to my database and run this query again. So I'll click this, it will run the query. And you see we have a new data here, Mary, age 25 and ID 3335. So the same data I passed here, Mary, age 25, ID 3335, isn't it? So I will add one more data. Let's say Anne, ID 333 is 8 maybe, and age 28. Okay, I'm going to again hit the database, hit the call endpoint, and see whether the database is again updated with the new data. So now again I'm getting a 200 OK. So I will go to the database and I will again run this query and see. See, now the Anne has also been added into my table. So that means Anne, age 28, and the staff ID, the same data I passed in the Postman, has been successfully added into the table. So that means my post endpoint is working as expected, and we are able to add the new data to the table using our repository.save method. That means our adding scenario is successful until the database layer. I will catch you up in the next video, guys.